Doctors didn't hesitate when they said it. Those 5 children would never walk, not in a year, not in 10, not ever. Their words sounded final, like the future had already been closed, like nothing could ever change what they had decided. Elena Carter stood in that hospital room in silence. Her hands were shaking slightly, but her face stayed calm. She listened to every word carefully, every limitation, every warning, every prediction about a life that would never happen. The room felt colder with every passing second, not because of temperature, but because of certainty. The kind of certainty that leaves no space for hope, only acceptance. But Elena didn't accept it. She didn't argue, she didn't break down. She simply looked at the children as if she could see something no one else could see. Then she asked one question that changed everything. When can I take them home? That single question shifted the entire moment. From that point, everything began to change. Back in 2013, Elena lived a very simple life. A small house, a quiet routine, and empty days that never changed. She had always wanted a family, but life never gave her that chance. Over time, she learned to live with that emptiness, even though it never truly left her. Everything changed the day she entered that hospital ward. 5 children were lying in separate beds, weak, silent, and labeled as hopeless cases. No one believed they had a future. No family had agreed to take them all together. Everyone saw them as too difficult, too complicated. But Elena didn't see problems. She saw children who needed someone to stay, and that was enough for her to decide. The adoption process was not easy. She was warned again and again that her life would never be the same, but she never stepped back. For the first time, she was completely sure of her decision. The first night at home changed everything. 5 children filled her quiet house with fear and silence. There was no sleep that night, and many nights after that were the same. One child cried constantly, another refused to eat. 2 couldn't sit without help, and the youngest only stared into silence. But Elena kept going, hour after hour, day after day, never stopping, never stepping back. Slowly, her life became a routine of care, repetition, and patience. Even when nothing seemed to change, even when progress was invisible, the outside world faded away. People stopped visiting. Some judged, some doubted, but Elena never stopped. Every morning she told them the same thing: your bodies will learn. At first, there was nothing, no response, no progress, only silence. But she continued anyway, because she believed something others didn't. Years passed slowly, and then one small moment changed everything. One child moved his foot just slightly, just for a second. Doctors called it a reflex, something meaningless, but Elena saw something else. She saw the beginning of hope. From that moment, Elena didn't slow down. She kept pushing harder than ever before, not out of desperation, but out of belief. She extended every therapy session and repeated every movement again and again. Every small response became something meaningful to her. Days didn't feel like progress, they felt like repetition, but she stayed patient. Even when nothing seemed to change, even when everything looked the same, the children began changing slowly, not in big ways, but in small, invisible steps. A little more control, a little more balance, a little more awareness. By the 5th year, something happened that no one could ignore anymore. 2 of the children stood up with support. Their legs were shaking, their bodies were unstable, but they were standing for the first time. Elena didn't celebrate. She didn't call anyone. She just stood there in silence, watching them. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't move, because she expected this moment. It was something she believed in long before anyone else did. The work didn't stop there. It became even harder. Standing was just the beginning. Every next step demanded more patience. By the 7th year, 3 of the children took their first steps. Slow, unsteady, but real steps. Steps that carried years of struggle. People started noticing quietly. Those who once doubted her stayed silent. But Elena never looked back. She never needed to prove anything. Because this was never about them. It was about the children. The bond between them grew stronger every day, not through words, but through years of staying. Then came the 10th year. They were invited to an event. Elena didn't want attention, but the children wanted to go. The hall was full of people, cameras, silence, and expectation. Then, one by one, the children walked onto the stage. Slowly, carefully, but on their own. No wheelchairs, no help. The entire room fell silent. Even the doctors had nothing to say. Elena stood behind them with shaking hands and tears in her eyes. Not from shock, but from pride, from belief, from time. Then one child stepped forward and spoke into the microphone. A long silence followed, heavy and unforgettable. "We didn't learn to walk because of medicine," he said. Then he looked at Elena. "We learned because someone never gave up on us." And in that moment, everything became clear. It was not a miracle. It was patience. It was love. And sometimes, that is enough to change everything.